I have done buckwally nothing at work for 10 years. For the past 10 years, my job has been so easy that I've literally done almost nothing, but I've gotten a good paycheck and tons of perks for it. I have a great position at a Canadian company where I do data entry and analytics. But really, I prefer not to disclose the details of the job because it's too specific and, well, not everyone needs to know how these niche areas work. What I can tell you is that I make $70,000 a year, plus great benefits, bonuses, health insurance, and a bunch of other nice perks. And, as if that weren't enough, my job is a total 9 yards, based on a few metrics, but it's not that important. All in all, it's a true dream come true for anyone who values stability and comfort. Honestly, I couldn't even believe how I managed to get here. The thing is that I created my own system of work for myself, which completely automated all the tasks that previously seemed time-consuming. If you knew how many hours I saved just by setting up a few macros in Excel. It sounds like a cliché, but real career successes, it turns out, are often hidden in the most unremarkable things. In the first couple weeks, I created a macro that pulls data from dozens of sources, generates reports, and automatically submits them 5 pages every day. And all of this happens without my input. I spend almost no time on the work itself, just checking the results. It turns out that I came to the company, made a few changes, and now everything works as it should, without my intervention. And everyone thinks that I am an important employee who works hard on reports. The reality is that it's all my little automation magic. People think I work from morning till night, but in reality I'm so lazy that I've simply allowed myself to create a system that does almost all the tasks for me. It turns out that I can spend more time doing personal stuff, getting an education, traveling, and doing other things while my workflow runs itself. How did I do this? Actually, I realized it within a couple of weeks when I realized there was a way to work smarter, not harder. And here's the result. Now I'm enjoying this comfortable life, and everyone thinks I'm a cool professional who actively works on every project. Admittedly, all the information I work with is just standard Excel files created by someone else. And essentially all of my work boils down to pulling data from those files and turning it into a report. But I approached it in a smart way. In my first month of work, I created a macro that now pulls information from over 50 different places on our shared server. This macro automatically gathers everything it needs and produces a 5-page report every day. All I have to do is click one button at the beginning of the day and the system does everything for me. The report is emailed at a random time, around 2:30 p.m. every weekday, so people think I'm always there and working. In reality, I just have the program do all the work. It doesn't take me more than 5 minutes a day, but it all looks like I'm putting in the effort and working hard on analytics. With this macro, I've automated almost everything that would have taken hours before. At first it was like an experiment, but now it's become my daily routine and no one has noticed that I'm not actually doing anything. Everyone around me thinks I'm an incredibly efficient worker, that I do things better than anyone else. In reality, I'm the laziest jerk you'll ever meet. I'm almost to the point where I can fully automate my work and then just start working from home because I've almost completed the approval process for the VPN feature. This will give me full access to all of my work stuff without having to show up at the office. Let's face it, with this VPN I'll be able to do the same things I do now, but in the comfort of my home without having to waste time traveling or getting out of my pajamas. I've made it so that everyone thinks I'm just a super worker, when in fact I'm absolutely enjoying life without a care in the world while making good money. Okay, to be honest, this situation has blown up a lot more than I expected, and now everyone is wondering what I'm even doing with my time. Well, let me be blunt. I actually used my time at work not to sit around and do reports, but to develop myself in other areas by doing something I really enjoy. Once I realized that I could automate all my tasks, I started applying the freed up time to learning. By implementing a program that allows me to work without doing anything, I was able to focus on getting my education for free. As a result, I've already earned my master's degree, and now I'm working on additional certifications and courses that will probably open up new horizons for me. And guess what? That's not all. I'm studying several completely different topics right now, from programming to psychology, and that's exactly the kind of freedom I couldn't get if I spent all my efforts in a monotonous office job. Many people have asked me how I find the time to do all this. The answer is simple. I don't find it, I create it. Every day, while everyone thinks I'm just a hard worker, I'm actually building my skills, gaining knowledge, and building my future. It's probably the coolest way to use an empty job to make my life really interesting and multifaceted. And even though no one knows it, I'm quite happy with the way things are working out. I get a lot of positive feedback about the importance of working smart, not hard, and, I really appreciate it. But honestly, it only became a revelation to me after I realized that I myself was in a position where I needed to work as efficiently as possible, rather than wasting energy on meaningless hours at a desk. Now, how long did it take me to realize that it was okay to do it this way and not the other way around? Actually, I did things the old way for the first 2 weeks because I didn't immediately realize the full potential of automation. I kept spending time on reports like everyone else and didn't realize that I could change my job once and for all. Then came the moment when I thought, why not try to do it smarter? Thus began my journey to automation. Compiling the report manually took me another week while I wrote and tested macros to make things faster. It was like implementing some super fast mechanism into the system that saved me not only time, but nerves as well. Then came a week of troubleshooting. Everything seemed to be working, but every day I ran into something that slowed things down a bit. However, despite these minor glitches, I was still improving the system every day. And then, after about a month, all the work became fully automated and I surrendered to the idea of expending effort on every report. The whole process was now down to a click of a button and a quick check of the results. Now that I see how it works, I'm just amazed at how much time I could have wasted doing things the old way. And so I realized that instead of being bogged down in a routine, I need to learn how to find optimal solutions. Learning automation skills quickly, avoiding useless routines, and working in a way that feels good is what it means to work smart. A lot of people have asked me how I handle vacations and sick days. Honestly, it's not that big of a problem. I have a work laptop, so even when I'm sick, I can easily plug in and continue working from bed. If it's really bad, I usually call my boss, and I think I've only called twice in all 10 years. And that was purely for emergencies. The rest of the time I manage to work without even leaving the house if I need to. When it comes to vacation, however, I simply turn off my work email. Very simple. I squeeze the most out of my vacation days, but I also don't worry about not getting anything done. All I have to do is set up an automatic reply and enjoy my vacation. But there's one little funny story I can't help but tell. When we had our first child, he was born 3 weeks premature. My wife and I were totally excited and absolutely engrossed in the whole process. I was so engrossed in what was happening that I completely forgot about my email. At that moment, I didn't realize at all that my automatic reply had not been turned on and that all the reports had essentially gone out into the world without my control. So, when I returned to work a couple days later, it turned out that all the emails had gone out and no one had noticed my absence. On the contrary, my superiors even praised me for my dedication and excellent work despite the fact that I hadn't done anything. It was one of those ironic situations where your dedication and lack of involvement is seen as something incredibly positive. Oh yeah, before anyone offers me silver or other awards, don't bother. None of that makes sense. Instead, if you want to do something good, just donate to charity. And if you decide you want to thank me in some other way, well, I'm always open to the unexpected, but I'll leave it up to you. Thank you for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you put a like and subscribe to the channel, as most likely this is not the end of the story. Before meeting,